Hi, my name is Claire Housel. I'm with the Department of Children and Families. I'm the Relative Caregiver Specialist. Today I'm going to show you how to apply for Relative Caregiver and give you some information about our program. The Relative Caregiver Program provides payment to children adjudicated dependent by the court in the state of Florida and placed in the relative's home in legal custody by a court under the Department Protective Supervision. We have some technical requirements. The child and the relative must be a resident of Florida. You have to have a Social Security number or proof that you have applied for a Social Security number for the child. The child must have up-to-date immunizations for children ages 0 to 4 years old. The children aged 6 to 18 must attend school. You must be a U.S. citizen or have a current INS document. The caregiver must be within the 5th degree of the relationship to the child. The caregiver must also cooperate with our Child Support Enforcement Department. Now, let me show you some forms that you need to complete and return to our office so that you may be eligible for the Relative Caregiver benefits. The Child Support Form, Form CSES51, must be completed by the relative caregiver. You would need to complete the front and the back of all the forms and give us as much information as possible that you know about the children's mother and the children's father. If the children have income, their income will be deducted from the grant. For children aged 0 to 5 years old, they will be eligible for $242. Ages 6 to 12 years old, they will be eligible for $249. Ages 13 to 18 will be eligible for $298 a month, and this is per child. Now, let's get started on getting your benefits for the Relative Caregiver Program. First, what must happen is we get a form from your case manager that tells us that the children or the child has been adjudicated. Then we will notify you to submit an application for relative caregiver benefits. If the relative does not currently receive cash assistance, you must now submit an application form for these benefits. The Customer Service Center will send a letter letting you know to apply. Your benefits will begin within 30 days from the date that you apply, or whichever is greater. If the relative is currently receiving benefits, the TANF benefits, once we get the communication form, we will advise you that you will be eligible for the relative caregiver benefits the following month. To apply, you must go to the application process at www.myflorida.com/accessflorida. Scroll down to the middle of the page to apply for benefits. This session is where you choose the process you wish to complete. The welcome page explains the following: application processing time standards for each program, answers provided during the application process determine if the household meets expedited food stamp criteria, how to check on the status of an application submitted electronically. The help buttons display information which explains the screen. You can choose the language in which you wish to complete the application. You can choose which process you wish to complete. Information on the bottom of the page shows information needed to complete the web application. The benefit selection. The progress bar. This feature tells you how far along you are in the application process. Navigation menu. This feature shows which screens are completed during the application process. It also allows navigation back to a specific screen. You must select who you wish to apply for and which benefits they wish to receive: food stamps, cash assistance, or Medicaid. The relative caregiver selection. This screen is displayed when one of the following situations is indicated under cash assistance. Cash assistance for a child the court has placed with me. Cash assistance for a child that is not mine but is related to me. This box displayed to inform the caretaker relative of the option of relative caregiver assistance when the child has not been placed through the court. Access online user sign up. Once you have reached this screen, you will have the ability to save and quit the application and return at a later time. You must have your application number and password to return. It is very important to remember the password. You should write down the application number. You provide it with a receipt with the number if you submit the application with an e-signature. This will allow you to stop at any point and complete the application later. The following message displays when the Save and Quit option is selected. Application information. If you answer yes to receiving mail at a different address, the additional address mailing fields must be completed. You can indicate the language you would prefer for all notices. Address validation. The address that is entered will be validated for accuracy. If the address does not validate, you will be required to make corrections. The application summary. The application summary screen allows you to see the information you entered to this point. You may click on Change to update entries made on the application section. When you click Continue, you will complete the screens for each individual you are applying for. Statement of Understanding. You must check the box stating you have reviewed and understand the Statement of Understanding. Electronic signature. You may apply for benefits by Sign Now or not submit an application by clicking Save and Quit. If Sign Now is selected, a confirmation page will be received. Confirmation page. The email confirmation serves to inform you that the application has been received. This section lets you know if you are potentially eligible for expedited food stamp services and what to expect next in the process. Access online survey. You can select to take the online survey when you complete the e-signature page. How to view a completed application. To view the application or make additional comments, use the Access Online number and password to access the case. Adding comments after the application is submitted. You may add comments to the application after it has been submitted. You must access the system and select Add Comments to an application that has been submitted using an electronic signature. Application training completed. Congratulations! You have completed the Relative Caregiver Application Training. For more information on Access programs, go to www.myflorida.com/accessflorida.